Hi everybody, my name is Greg Krehbiel. I'd like to take just a minute to explain to you why it would be beneficial to you to have me on your team. If you have some discrete needs right now, let's say you have a new technology that you need to implement, or you have something that you have to integrate with your back-end system, or you have a bunch of staff that needs to be managed, or you have this big operational mess that you're not sure what to do with, and somebody needs to optimize it, look at your business rules, look at your processes, figure out how to make that work better. That's great. I've done all those things. I can do that stuff for you. But the real benefit you're going to get by hiring me doesn't relate to things that you know right now that you need. The real benefit is that when a new need comes along, I'm going to step up, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to step in, and I'm going to solve it for you. And I have a long history of doing that. That's what I did at BrightKey when the pandemic hit. We had to figure out how we were going to manage our staff, how we were going to move people to remote work. We hadn't done much of that before. We had to figure out how we were going to maintain service levels with changing requirements from different clients. So that was an unknown need that I stepped into, stepped up, took responsibility, and made sure that it worked. At Kiplinger, the same thing happened many times. Kiplinger didn't know that they were going to have to change fulfillment companies 2 different times. That was a huge operational mess. We had to figure out the technology, we had to figure out our business requirements, we had to figure out what we could do quickly and what we couldn't. It was an enormous undertaking, and if it wasn't for me, I was crucial to that process of making sure that happened, and I stepped in, stepped up, and took care of things. Kiplinger also didn't know that they were going to need to implement a customer data platform, and that the customer data platform was going to have to integrate with their back-end fulfillment system, with their email system, with their ad server, with their content management system. Those were all things that I figured out. I stepped in, figured it out, and got it done. They also didn't know they were going to need a store, an e-commerce platform, but I figured that out. Back at Thomson didn't know they were going to pivot to audio conferences, but I created their audio conference department. They didn't know they were going to move from print to digital and had to move all of their loose leaf publications into an online format. I did that for them. I figured out the content management system. I figured out the email alerts. I figured out how all that was going to be done. I configured the new web server. I did the whole thing. If it wasn't for me, it wouldn't have got done. And that's what I do. I step in, I figure things out, I figure out the technology, but sometimes more important than figuring out the technology is figuring out the people and figuring out how to get one group of people to work with another group of people. That's something I'm very good at. I've done a couple lectures on how to get marketing and IT to work together. And there are some very simple ways to do that, but that's what I do. So the real benefit you're going to have from hiring me is not addressing the specific unique needs you have right now. If you have specific unique needs, great, I'll help you with those things. But the real issue is that 6 months down the road, something else is going to come up. A year down the road, something else is going to come up. You need to have the right people on the bus. You need to have people who can figure things out, who can get along with other people, who can figure out the business requirements, the operational requirements, the workflow requirements, how things work, how they should work, can come up with creative solutions, and can implement them effectively in your environment with your people. And that's something I have a long history of doing. I can do it very well. And if you're interested, if you think that maybe you need somebody like that on your team, please contact me and I'd love to talk. Thanks so much.